You're listening to Homeschool Unrefined. I'm Marin.
And I'm Angela. Let's encourage each other, laugh, and get real about homeschool.
Welcome to the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun. You've got episode 74 where we slide into summer.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome to this episode of Homeschool Unrefined. We are so glad you're here. As usual, we love hearing from you. So if you would like to reach out to us to just say hello, we would love that. You can either do that through email or our DMs or whatever. We just love hearing from you and connecting and putting names to the people who are listening. So we feel like we know who we're talking to.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of think of you when I'm here.
Totally.
Recording.
Yes. Yeah. So, we also wanted to just mention again briefly that we started a Patreon page, and we would love to have you over there. If you join our Patreon site and support us there, you can get another episode each month that we're calling Off the Record. And this is where we maybe talk about some things that we aren't as comfortable talking about in the main podcast.
Right. Yeah.
Or maybe some different topics that are
Right.
not technically homeschool related.
They're homeschool adjacent.
Homeschool adjacent.
I think you
Yep.
coined that phrase, and
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah. So that's where we're going to be doing that. So if you want to get that monthly episode, you could support us there for $3 a month. If you support us at $8 a month, you can join our Voxer chat group, which we have going right now, which is super exciting. So we would love to have you join that. And we just chat about whatever. Just Marin and I and whoever else is going to support us.
We can talk about homeschool too. I mean, anything.
We can talk about anything.
Right.
Yep. So that's
I'm really
already
looking forward to that.
Yep, that's already going, and we'd love to have you there.
Yeah.
And then if you support us at the $20 level, you can get 2 hours a month of, we're calling it like coaching, or maybe a little bit of extra support or encouragement, or maybe just like someone to bounce ideas off of. If you feel like you need that, we would love to provide that for you.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to be doing this thing alone. So this is an opportunity maybe for you if that's something you would like. And we would love to support you in that too.
Right. Yeah. So thank
sure.
you to our group of people who have already supported us since we announced this last week. We are so thankful for you. So
we really are. Just
Yeah.
so thankful.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Yes. So Marin,
Yeah.
you just returned a couple hours ago.
Yeah.
From your trip to Austin.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear more about it.
I love Austin.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you have all been to Austin, but it is I just love the city. It has such a personality to it. It's very, I mean, I want to say hippie, but not really. It's like, well, it's turning into hipster-y, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, very laid back and lots of music and great food. So
yeah.
And it was great. And anyway, my husband was there for work, and I went to a dinner with him one night with some of his coworkers, and I got to meet these amazing women who are very successful in their business.
Yeah.
And it was so inspiring, I have to tell you.
So were these all like other real estate people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, within Keller Williams, and they have teams. They have a team. So it's like their own a small business within Keller Williams, right? And so I don't know, I was just really struck. And I think I've even met some of these women before in passing, but this dinner we kind of dove in and got to know each other. We sat around this big table, and there was probably 15 of us, and the rule was we have to have one conversation.
Okay.
With all 15 of us. So we had to all talk.
Okay.
And it was just so inspiring. I just thought, oh, wow, these women just knew what they were good at somehow at a young adult maybe, or, and just went with it and figured out how to make themselves successful. And I was just inspired.
Yeah.
And they were wonderful to me too, and just so warm. And I just thought, wow, this is like us, except they went in a different direction in their life. And it was just great. I loved it.
Right.
Loved hearing from them.
Yeah, I am inspired by people who have the confidence to do something
yes.
that maybe is a little bit scary.
Yeah, exactly. And real estate, is definitely can be very scary because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee especially when you start out.
Right. Right.
If you're going to make anything. So you just really have to know that you are going to work really hard.
Yep.
And get these things done. And also you have to believe that you're good at those things.
Yeah. And that's hard.
It is hard. And I think we need more women to show us that they did that.
Yeah. Right. Right.
As a culture.
Right. Definitely.
So.
Do you think women mostly struggle with not knowing that they're good enough?
I don't know. I think it's a human problem.
Yeah, probably.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet I think culturally probably there are more women who struggle with that. Mm-hmm. I would guess.
Right.
I don't know.
We don't have a lot of role models like men do. So
right.
We're not seeing that in other people.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I was just thinking as we boarded the airplane this morning and they they had all the first class people go on first. It was all white men.
Yeah. Of course.
Of course. And I just thought, I don't think it's their fault, that they're successful. No, right. And yet, I don't know if it's anybody's fault. It's just, I would love to see a diversity in that, in that group of people who are finding success in that way. So. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you sounded, when I voxed with you a little bit yesterday, you sounded excited. Mm-hmm. And energized, which is great. Did you feel like this trip was energizing for you?
Yeah, it was really energizing. Yeah, definitely. Although, I came back from that. I was telling you, I came back from that dinner and I was completely exhausted, which is kind of interesting because I'm an extrovert.
Right.
And a lot of times those dinners, any kind of get together with people, and especially in that kind of setting, it's energizing a lot of times, but I was so exhausted.
Really? So, it was probably really intense.
It was intense, yeah.
And you are more introverted of the extroverts.
Yes, ENFPs are.
Yep.
But I know when you come home from those kind of events too, well, you and I both have the same problem. If we come home late from an event, let's say, you and I would both stay up for 2 more hours or more.
Yep.
Just.
Yeah, me because I'm out of my routine. And, yeah, I wish I'm an introvert, but I'm not the type who just falls asleep from exhaustion.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think because it's out of my routine and I had all this excitement, I'm up for a little while. But I am exhausted from what happened.
Right.
All the excitement that just happened. I'm exhausted.
And you might need less. Do you feel like you need less socialness the next day or?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That whole thing you were talking about, sitting around a table with 15 people and everybody talking.
Yeah.
That's kind of sounds scary to me. I mean, I would want to hear what everybody have to say, maybe by myself. I would love to eavesdrop on that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Where I didn't have to participate or nod my head or ask questions. I could do that for a little bit, maybe if there was a few people, but 15?
Yeah.
It's kind of overwhelming to me.
Yeah, it was slightly overwhelming to me because I didn't know anybody at this table.
Yeah.
Everybody else they get together a couple times a year, but they don't always get to sit down like this.
Okay.
And learn about each other in depth a little more. So, Sean knew all these people, and so when it was his turn to talk, he was still
he's fine.
Totally.
Yeah. But, and so then did you talk about yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Were they oh, this is interesting. She's not one of us.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, one of the guys at the table, his wife homeschools.
Oh, okay.
So I felt a little more comfortable about that.
Yep.
And then when I told them I had a podcast, then they were all ears.
Oh, okay.
They were super excited about that. And I think just because they're all entrepreneurs, they're all, so they're like, oh. They were excited about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it. But then the next day, Sean was at a thing all day. And so I woke up to myself. I was like all by myself. And I had the whole day
to yourself.
And I almost didn't I felt like I needed to talk to somebody.
Really?
So that's where my extrovertedness kind of kicked in. And I was like, who am I going to talk to today?
Wow. I would have loved that day to have nobody to talk to.
Yeah. What would you have done? Just wondering.
If I was in Austin, probably took my time getting ready. Maybe read for a little bit. Go get something to eat by myself in some cool area.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be around fun places.
Oh yeah.
And go back to the hotel. Do something else, and then maybe go out for a little walk later. I don't know. Just
that sounds about what I did.
Boring things.
I didn't do much else than that.
Yeah. Okay, so today we are talking about sliding into summer because summer is basically here. I mean, not technically.
Yeah.
But I bet all of you are winding up your school year and thinking about summer.
And when I think you thought of the title Sliding into Summer, I thought it was so perfect because that's how I feel right now. I am sliding. I'm sliding in.
Yep. I'm in the middle of the slide.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And my oldest, Georgia, she's 13. She keeps asking me, Mom, when is summer?
Yeah.
When do we start? When are we going to be done with homeschooling?
Yeah.
And I'm always like, I don't know yet. I haven't figured that out yet.
That's what I tell them. Well, I told my kids on Memorial Day, that's usually we're just going to be done.
Oh, really? Okay.
After Memorial Day, I think we're going to be done.
Okay.
But what that's going to look like, I have not solidified what the summer is going to look like yet. So.
Yeah. So we wanted to just talk through that together and with you and let you know that, we don't have this summer figured out. We're still in process and figuring this out. And probably some of the things that we're thinking about are similar to things that you're thinking about. Right. So we just thought hashing that out together would be great.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you and I can struggle with when we do this podcast that we feel like we should have everything together before we do an episode.
Yeah.
And then we have to remind ourselves that's not why we're doing this podcast.
Right.
We're here to come alongside you all and, to process together because that's real life. That's real homeschooling.
Right.
And so I think it's good. It's good for us to not get all of our stuff together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfectly together. I mean, it's good to process.
Right. Right. Yeah. Pretty much every time we do an episode, we say to each other, one of us says I don't know. I don't have anything. I'm not an expert in this, or I don't feel like I have anything great to share. But really, yes, you're right. That is not why we're here.
Right.
We do some of those types of episodes. And so if you're looking for something a bit more tangible, and some ideas for what to do this summer, we did do an episode last summer called, it's episode number 25, where we suggest simple summer projects.
Yes.
And
they really are simple.
They were emphasis on the simple.
And quotation marks around the project. I would say.
Yes, definitely. So if you're looking for something more like that, you should definitely go back and listen to that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Something more tangible, for sure. So when I'm thinking about the summer, Angela, my first thought is always this, and let me know if you can relate to this. Well, we didn't even do that much intense, maybe traditional school academics during the school year. So how can I think about taking a break over summer? Yeah.
I think that every time. I'm thinking that right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that. And, or I think, we didn't get to these things that I kind of wanted to get to.
Right.
And I wonder if we should try and get to them over the summer.
Right.
Yep.
Just play catch up.
Just play catch up. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had those intentions in the past and it's always backfired.
Yeah. Me too.
Okay, good. So I'm not the only one here. Good to hear it. Yeah, I think there's something that happens in the summer with kids, and maybe it's Minnesota, the Minnesota weather, that it's finally nice out, and there's just no way. It's so hard to wrangle their bodies to sit down and do anything. But I'm learning that I have to let go much more in the summer.
Right. Me too. You're right. It does backfire on me if I want to do some traditional schoolwork. Mm-hmm. It usually backfires. And I think that might be, I bet that works for some people. I think some people are probably really good at that. Yeah. And if that works for you, I think that's awesome. It does not work for me. I think it's my personality.
I think mine too. Definitely. Well, I think it would be, I could see it where it would, and this I think would probably be, I've always been a proponent of all
year-round school.
Like year-round school.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's just because there are less huge long breaks.
Yep.
And there are more intermittent breaks that are more natural and make more sense sometimes. Right. And so I could see where if you have 6 weeks on and 2 weeks off or something.
Yep.
And maybe you have one extended break over the summer, like a month instead of 2 weeks or something like that. Right. I can see myself getting there, but I am not there right now.
Right.
Not there.
I do think it's regional, or I feel like because we live in Minnesota. Gosh, yes. I don't know. I feel like we are so governed by this beautiful weather.
Yeah, I know.
In the seasons, I just it influences pretty much everything in our lives.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it is just a natural thing for us to want to get outside and explore and do outside type things with this beautiful weather. So I feel like it's okay to ease into that or lean into that, I guess. It's okay to lean into that.
I agree. Yep, totally. And then I think back to, February when we were inside all month or whatever it was.
Yeah.
When it was so cold and dark, and that's, and this is just the balance to that.
Right. We lived in Arizona for a little while, and their summers are so hot. And I can imagine if we were in that hot summer that I would want to do school then, and then maybe take some time off in the fall and spring or even winter.
Oh, there you go.
When it's really nice out.
Yeah.
That would seem ideal to me, because in the summer you have to stay inside. I mean, you have to. So you might as well be doing some school.
Right.
So anyway, exactly. I just think for us, though I do agree with the idea of year-round school, like you, I think it does make more sense. I feel like for us, we have to take a break in the summer.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though I'm inclined to want to keep going sometimes.
So is there anything academic, anything that you're going to do in the summer? I mean, can you think of, or are you just going to make a clean break?
Okay. Good question. Well, first of all, I don't exactly know when we're stopping. I should probably look at a calendar and figure that out. Mm-hmm. But after that, we are going to do reading. I usually do like a summer reading program.
Yep.
And we usually do it either through the library, and I make my own up. And I do it like based on my child with some incentive to get them to read a lot. So we do that.
Good.
I think that might be it this year for academic. Yeah. For like an academic thing. Obviously, they're learning all the time. And
you are right.
So just because we're not doing school, quote unquote, they are learning. And we can't stop that. That's going to happen. And so I know that they're going to be learning. Am I going to be making them do anything? Probably not, except for reading. And then they are going to do chores.
Mm-hmm. And because that never stops.
That never stops. So chores. And then we're going to have lots of adventures together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's learning. That's a lot of learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are so many learning opportunities in those adventures that you don't even need to plan or make into a formal thing.
Right. It'll just happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
How about you? Are you going to do anything academic?
Well, I really struggle with this. Yes, I think reading is so important.
Yeah.
So we're going to do reading. I'm probably going to keep reading out loud.
Yeah.
Because it's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And I think when because I like it, it kind of rubs off my kids. I might take some breaks. There might be breaks in there where I don't do that all the time. And I think we all need that.
Right.
Even though I still want to do it, I think I probably need to take a break from it.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. And so we also have these Q&A a day journals that I don't know. I don't know if I'll require it, but maybe just have them out still.
Yep.
Because they're 3-year journals. And so it's kind of nice to have them continue to do it.
Right.
So it gets filled up for every year, and the kids kind of like it. So I don't know if I'm going to require that or not, but it's such a small thing. It's so small.
Yeah. Right.
It can be done in 2 minutes. And then that is probably all I will do. Now we might play some math games sometimes. I think math has to be very informal, and it cannot feel like they're doing math. What I would like to do is to continue doing the math that we're doing. And here's why. I finally found a math that I really like for all of our kids.
Wow. Tell us.
Yeah. I think I've talked about it before. It's CTC math.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
online.
Yep.
And I just like the format, and it's very simple to use.
Right.
And it's fast. It's very fast. Like you could do that in 10 minutes every day too.
Yeah.
If you're just going to do one lesson and, so it's just working for us.
Right.
So my tendency would be to keep doing it. But I just don't know if I should push it. I just don't think I should push it.
Right.
My kids need to feel like they're having a break.
They do.
And so if we're doing read aloud and they're reading.
Yep.
And
they're doing jobs.
Q&A. Yeah, doing jobs.
Q&A a day. That's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. So I think I have to let that go. I think I have to just let it go. And then we'll just pick up. And you know what? We'll pick up in the grade they're in next year, and they'll probably be, great. They're not going to have finished the stuff from the grade they're in right now.
You're just going to start over. So like if you have a third grader this year, you're just going to, even though they didn't finish third grade, you're just going to pick up in fourth grade next year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And they'll just be ready for it because we will have been talking about math things all summer. We will have brought money to the farmer's market.
Yeah. Yep.
Like I know you've talked about a lot before. Played games and things like that. So, all that is, it picks up momentum, and by the time they start fourth grade or whatever it is, grade, they'll be ready.
Yeah.
And if they're not, that's okay too. It's okay.
Yep.
So Angela, how is your summer going to look different than your school year?
Yeah, I think one of the main things is my kids are going to get to sleep in, which they are asking for. Yeah. And honestly, they've been doing that already, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't tell my husband.
Yeah.
My kids are actually doing a play this summer, and 2 of yours are also.
Yep.
And so that practice goes late every night. And so they've already started that, and their practice is going late. And I have one daughter who's doing another play. And so she's just real busy at night lately. And so I really want her to sleep in. I want them all to sleep in. I want them to get enough sleep. Sleep is important to me. So I am going to be letting them sleep in. Now,
Good.
I don't know if I'm going to let them sleep until noon or 11. I mean, I might cut them off at like 9 or 10, but I want to make sure they get good sleep. So that is going to be different for sure. And then they'll probably, you were talking about reading aloud. I do hope to read aloud too, because it is my favorite thing to do. It's harder in the summer though, when everybody sleeps in and gets up at different times, because it's harder to corral them and be like, I'm going to read aloud now. So it has to be a really interesting book or something that they're also looking forward to.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have still like their morning jobs and stuff to do. That's really important. My husband already made he's starting a new jobs program with the kids.
I love it.
We're going to start paying them for the first time ever. We've never paid our kids for work.
Yeah.
But he wants to start paying them for like a bigger job.
Yeah, good.
So he really thought through what each of our kids could do for a big job, and then he's going to pay them. So I don't know. I'm not going to be in charge of that. I don't know how that's going to work, but I think they're just going to like have to think about their week and when they can do it.
I'm so glad you're not going to be in charge of that. That makes me so happy.
I said that. I hope I'm not in charge of that, because when I have to manage, he likes to put in place programming.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I have to manage it.
My husband does that too.
Does he?
Yeah.
And so like, could you just make sure they do this today? Thanks.
Yeah.
So that's gonna look a little bit different. Gosh, I'm hoping I don't have to manage that. But anyway, what else? I don't know. I don't think, I mean, other than us not doing some academics, it is going to look pretty similar to our regular days of hanging out together.
Which I think is so good.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like, oh, it's summer, it's way different now. It's going to be like, okay, we get to sleep in. We're not doing a few of these things, and we get a little bit more free time.
Yeah, well, I've heard in groups, homeschool groups, like Facebook groups, where even homeschool parents are, their kids are driving them crazy by the, first week of summer, their summer vacation, because their routines are all messed up. Like they went from one end of the spectrum all the way to the other, and it was like too much of a change for them. Yeah. And so I think gradual changes are just so much better for kids too. So I think we're getting into this good routine, this rhythm as a family where we are doing work during the school year, but it's not too much.
Yep.
It's not too much, and it's not stressful. And it's just like kind of doing life. We're just doing life. Yep. And life includes some work.
Yep.
And that's good. And I'm hoping this summer will prove to be like not a huge amount of change, but just enough to feel like a little breath, like a little sigh of relief, and little more time to explore and do fun things. It's just, the season of just less. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But not like way less.
Right. Yeah. Right. I feel like homeschoolers have a different summer than public school or traditional school kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have to remember that, because I feel like I think for traditional school kids, and their parents, maybe they're looking forward to getting to do a bunch of things that they don't get to do during the year, or looking forward to spending time together or working on their own interests or projects or things like that. And I feel like our kids get to do that during the year. Right, and so our summer is not like this time of, ooh, finally I get to do the things that I always want to do.
Right.
But it's more just a little bit of a shift. A little bit of a shift in expectations.
Yep.
And I feel like consequently it looks different for the parents. I mean, it might not look different for you, but I feel like for me, I need a break from my kids. I need a break. Shouldn't have said need a break from my kids. I need a break from being in charge.
Sure. Yes.
I need a break.
I think that's a good specification there. I think that's great. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I need a break from having to worry about if people completed tasks, or if kids are fighting, or if they, are completing requirements or getting things done or whatever. I need a break from all that. I need a mental break. Yeah. And I feel like that is a challenge as a homeschool parent, because you're like a stay-at-home parent where this is what you're doing 24/7. I mean, you don't get a natural break from your job, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's a challenge, and I think I'm going to work really hard at building in breaks for myself this summer, because I feel like now is my chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think summer for a homeschool parent can feel like that. If you just let up on a few of those expectations. Like, I mean, if I could just sit out on my deck and watch my kids play a little bit more and have coffee a little bit longer in the morning.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
that to me, I just feel like the pressure valve has been like turned, opened up or whatever.
Right.
And so there's just more time for that kind of stuff.
Right. And then you're not going to feel guilty if you didn't get to stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not going to make them stop playing so we can do whatever it is.
Right.
Those are the kind of things I just want less of that kind of stuff.
Right. So how is your summer going to look different?
I kind of took over yours. So
Oh.
I probably said,
okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't want it to look a ton different.
Yeah.
Because that's just hard. Those huge transitions are very hard for kids. So, and for adults.
Yeah.
So I just want a little bit, probably less, expectations from me,
Mm-hmm.
and more of them, maybe just some more self-directed play.
Yep.
I think routines are still really good for kids. They
Yep.
need those things to expect every day.
Yep.
And so I don't want to just be all over the board with things. And so I think it might be good. And I have not planned this out, but like maybe one day we do a field trip every week or something.
Mm-hmm.
We just go somewhere we haven't ever gone before or something like that. I don't know. I know we have been doing an adventure co.
Yep.
Or, like it's a nature walk.
Yeah.
So, just like those kind of things to look forward to I think are great.
Yeah. Right.
And expect.
Right. So, this is kind of relates to our summer planning. You were talking a little bit about planning. Can we move into talking about that?
Let's do it.
All right. So, how are you planning out?
I know.
Your summer. I'm wanting you to go first because I don't know what to say to this question. Like, how are you? Are your kids going to be involved in activities?
That's actually, yeah. When you asked me about summer plans, I was thinking, now I'm looking like back at like far away and looking at a 3-month calendar.
Okay.
That's what I'm envisioning.
Yep.
And like, what are our big, rocks here, or, the big things that are happening. And it's the play.
Yep.
Our local play. So we have 2 kids doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just, that's taking up our evenings until the middle of July. And then I have, my oldest is going to camp.
Yeah.
For the first time. And I decided to do that because she's an independent person.
Yeah.
Always has been. And she's learning a language, and this is a language camp, and it's just like right up her alley. And I'm so excited for her. So it was just a really good fit. It's from our college. Our college puts it on. So it's people, I don't know, a system, a group that I know. So
that's overnight camp.
Overnight camp.
Yeah. For a week.
Yeah. 5 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am nervous and very excited for her.
Yeah.
About that. And then, my son, we're getting into some details here. Yeah. My son just joined Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Okay.
Which I was not 100% on board with, except that I just knew he was going to love it so much.
Yeah. He seems like a Boy Scout.
Oh my gosh. In so many ways.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. He loves everything the Boy Scouts does. Like all the, I don't know, the fishing, the campfires. I mean, all that kind of stuff. So he is going to do, I think there's like a family camp. So we might do that one night.
Okay.
I think it's 1 or 2 nights.
Yeah.
And then, our family is we do camper cabin at a state park once a month.
Yep.
Yeah. And so those are the kind of things that I think are going to take up our summer.
All right.
My son is also going to be do a 1 night a week soccer.
Okay. Yep.
Like, through Parks and Rec.
Yep.
So it's going to be a real simple, low key thing.
Yep.
I like those. Yeah. So here's what I've always in my mind, what I've always, ideally thought of is that our kids would be in like 1 sport and 1 art type thing.
Okay.
Which could be music or drama, whatever it is. But that, that hasn't really happened. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know. That's on hold.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a daughter who's begging for music lessons.
Oh. Wow.
And I think that's great. I think it's so great that she wants to do it. There's just so many other factors. Like, first of all, it costs a lot of money. Second of all, it's a commitment. It's another commitment.
Totally.
And while I want to support her, those are just things like we can't just dive into those things without a lot of thought. So, anyway.
And that can be hard as a parent when your kid wants to do music lessons. Like, I think we can tend to feel like, oh, right now, this is my chance. I have to do this right now.
We have to do this right now.
But in a year, if she still wants to do music lessons, you could do it then, and it'd be fine. Starting then versus starting earlier.
It's so true.
Yeah.
We don't have to do everything right now.
Right.
We can't do everything right now.
No.
Definitely not.
I'm in this, I call it summer planning angst. I have a hard time making decisions anyway. Mm-hmm. Just generally, I have a hard time making decisions because I want to make like the right decision, the best decision.
Yep.
And so I have a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
But I think this summer has really been planning. The summer has been challenging for me because, like I said, I need a break from being in charge. So I would like my kids to be in a few things. I feel like this is kind of my chance because they can do some things that are like small commitment type things. They can try out some things that won't last long, and I could get a little break.
Right. And this is when everything gets offered.
This is when everything is offered and all the kids are doing all the things. So I feel like I got to take my chance to do that. Mm-hmm. So I'm wanting to put them in things, and I'm carrying around our local like community ed book.
Yeah. I have that one too.
And I'm like highlighting and rereading and highlighting and rereading and starring things. And I don't know. I just can call it angst. I'm just like, debating over everything. And it's hard. So I have that. And then I have my kids don't really want to do any activities. They just want to stay home and play. That's what they say. They say they just want to stay home and play.
Yeah.
So I want to give them that too. I don't want to put them in activities when they don't want to do activities.
Yeah.
And then they say things like, well, I'll be in that activity if my friend is. So then it's like, well, then I would have to coordinate with a friend. And that's too much to think about.
Yeah.
But I do need some time by myself. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance their needs and my needs. And each kid individually has certain needs. And I'm just feeling overwhelmed by that. But I will get it figured out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right. Like you hit the nail on the head there where like we as parents, and I think especially homeschool parents, we really know our kids. We all really know our kids. But I feel like the homeschool parents, we like, it's our job to get in their minds and figure out what makes them tick because we are, we're their teachers too, and we're that person. So when we figure out something that gets them excited or something that makes them tick or something that they would do. Even if it's just like, this is something they would do. I think we feel like we need to meet that desire or that need or that opportunity right now. Right. It has to happen. Right. It's now or never. I feel that way so often. And that's part of my personality though too. Yeah. And I just have to back off on that. So yeah. Because being at home all summer, now it might seem like that's going to drive you crazy, but I do feel like whatever you decide to do, you're going to find a balance in it. No matter what, no matter what you do, you are going to figure out a rhythm. It's going to be good. You'll figure out what you need. Maybe you need to, like I said, do a field trip on one day or go to the park on one afternoon a week, go to the library this morning, morning, or whatever. You will come up with something and it doesn't have to be elaborate. Right. Or cost a ton of money. Right. To do.
Yeah. One thing I was
one thing I didn't mention earlier was science. You could do science. Like that's something that's so great in the summer because you can do things outside and kids don't even think they're
right
learning at all, but there's so many good things. So
right. One thing I was thinking of doing, I told you this the other day. I've never sent my kids to like the grandparents for a week.
Oh yeah. Do it.
And
highly suggest it.
I was thinking that I might do that this year if the grandparents would be up for it. The grandparents have asked in the past, and my kids have never wanted to do that because I think they were younger. I think now that they're older, they can handle it.
So it would be all of them going at the same time, or
I don't know,
one at a time, maybe.
Yeah. The only other issue is we have to wait till this play is over because we can't. Because there's practice every night, we can't really go anywhere overnight. Yeah.
And I think when we have evening activities like the play or soccer or whatever it is, we have to remember that's like part of our day. So
I know.
You can't make plans all day and then go to evening activities too. That's so much.
Totally.
I mean, maybe some kids can handle that, but like a lot of my kids could not handle that.
I know. That's kind of where I feel like we're at right now. I feel like starting at about 4:00 every day until like 9, 4 to 9, we are busy with play, with stuff for the play.
Yeah.
Different plays.
Yeah.
And, one of my daughters has Girls on the Run, and then my son has swimming. And so we have stuff at night, which I think is a great benefit to homeschooling because we can, I don't feel too busy to do that stuff where I would if they were in school. However, I got to remember that we can't pack our day full. And sometimes I do that. And then I just run myself.
Yeah. And especially in the summer.
Oh.
Because of all the activities everywhere. The parade or the block party or whatever it is. There's always something going on in the summer. Yeah. 4th of July.
Yep.
I mean, there's just, there are always things going on. So we just have to remember that is taking energy.
Right.
And that we count it all as homeschool. Yep. We count it as homeschool. 4th of July, count it as homeschool. They're learning.
Yeah.
So, maybe take a day off when you get done with, your 4th of July celebrations or whatever, because you are going to need some downtime and your kids probably will too.
Right.
Okay. Looks like we probably need to wrap this up here. But I would love to close with just, reassuring everyone that whatever you decide, it's going to be great.
Yep.
Make sure you take some time for yourself.
Oh, yes.
Make sure your kids have some downtime.
Yep.
And, you know your kids best and you know yourself best. So, just keep that in mind, I would say. Right.
Right. Yes. And if you make a mistake, like I have done in the past, I've made the mistake of signing up for too many activities. I've also made the mistake of not signing up for enough activities.
Yep.
And so that can happen.
Yep. Or doing too many academics or,
yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I've made all the mistakes. So.
And it's okay to make changes.
Yeah.
In the middle of the summer.
Totally.
Tweak things as needed.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's move on to loving this week.
Sounds good.
Angela, what are you loving this week?
I'm loving a book. It's called North of Normal by Sia Sunrise Person.
Never heard of it.
So it's a memoir. I love memoir.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say this is in the vein of like The Glass Castle, if you like that, The Glass Castle, or The Sound of Gravel, or maybe even Wild by Cheryl Strayed.
Okay, yeah.
So it's about this girl, this woman who, when she was young, she grew up basically in the wilderness with her family. Her mom and her aunts and her grandparents.
Oh, wow.
And they were kind of like, I would say hippies, but like much more than that. I mean, they lived in like teepees or tents or, and they just kind of like lived off the land. And they didn't always know where the next meal was coming from or like how they were going to make this work, but they just did.
Wow.
And she, it was really dysfunctional. A dysfunctional situation.
Okay.
With lots of, drugs and sexual activity and stuff like that, even from when she was really young. So, super interesting to see, just to hear her whole story, and then to hear how she has like evolved as she's gotten older. So
wow.
Loved it. I just couldn't put it down.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So if anybody has any suggestions for other types of books just like that, like somebody with a dysfunctional childhood.
You're into those.
I'm into those. And good writing. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I love those. So
you do like memoirs. I know that.
I do.
Yeah, like a memoir.
Yeah. So anyway, Myron, what are you loving this week?
Okay. So I am loving a stand-up comedy special.
Oh, all right.
It is called Michelle Wolf. Nice lady.
Is this the Michelle Wolf who did the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yes, it is. And she also is on The Daily Show.
Okay.
With Trevor Noah.
Okay.
Who is also so funny.
Okay.
But so she's like a kind of a correspondent, they call her probably, or something like that on that show. And then she did the, what was it called?
White House Correspondents' Dinner.
The White House Correspondents' Dinner, yes. And that was somewhat controversial.
It was.
I mostly liked it.
Yeah, me too. You sent it to me and I watched it.
I did send it to you, yeah. I liked it. Okay, so anyway, this special though is even way better. It is so good. It's all about being a woman, basically.
Yeah. I cannot wait to watch it.
Yeah. And now I feel really bad though. So I'm just going to disclaimer. I think it's on HBO.
How did you watch it?
I don't know how accessible it is to everybody. That's how I feel really bad that it might not be. I watched it on the airplane.
Oh.
It was it was on the Delta screen in front of me.
Yeah.
So, I was laughing so hard. I am embarrassed to tell you how much I was laughing on this airplane. It was an early flight. My left was Sean, my husband. On my right was this very nice young lady who was trying to rest. It was an early morning flight. And she definitely didn't want to talk to me, which I appreciated. But she did not need to hear me laughing that hard either. I feel so bad. At one point, I was like, I think I have to turn this off. I think I have to stop. My eyes were watering. I was crying. And laughing so hard.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was thinking about you, Angela. I was actually thinking, I want to watch this with you.
We should.
Yeah.
I think you can I'm sure we can figure out how to watch it. But can't you get an HBO free trial for like 7 days?
Yeah, I bet you could.
I'm sure you
can.
Yeah. You could do that. Let's do that.
Oh my goodness. Or maybe, who knows? Maybe you can buy it on iTunes or something.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'll look it up and we'll put it in the show notes.
Is it about an hour long?
Yep, it's about an hour.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got just impeccable timing and she's so smart.
I love female comics.
Yeah, me too.
Did you see that? Side note. I sent you that thing that Amy Schumer's coming to town.
Wait.
Didn't I send you that?
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Well, not really town.
Well, like an hour away.
Yeah, an hour. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, we have to go. We should go to that.
Totally. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. But
Definitely.
I love a good female comic.
Me too.
So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to find more of those.
You're going to love it so much. Can't wait.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Should I watch it without you first? And then
you might want to.
When are we going to be able to get together?
I know. You might not want to wait that long.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. We appreciate it. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Homeschool Unrefined. We also have a website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about and show notes. And I think that's all. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Homeschool Unrefined was created by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Thanks to Gambler's Daughter for providing the music for our show. You can find Gambler's Daughter at facebook.com/gamblersdaugghtermusic.